Hello and welcome to SED 445. We are your course instructors. I am Crystal Lewis-Pratl, who will be leading most of the online sessions, and Jamie Corcoran, who will be leading your face-to-face sessions. We wanted to give you an overview of what to expect over this summer semester. So we'll begin by talking about the requirements of the course, specifically about curriculum design, the project descriptions. We're going to have an opportunity for a little discussion around that, along with a brainstorming activity that we'll have you conduct via VoiceThread. So some tips first of how to be successful in a hybrid course. We really do encourage you to familiarize yourself with the course site. You'll notice that you'll have access to each week the Friday before the week begins. So at 8 a.m. every Friday, a new week will open so that you can get a start on some of your activities over the weekend. If that works best for your schedule, then complete them up during the week that they're due, because everything will be due Monday evenings at 11:55. We also want you to take notice to the zeros week for the getting started, and notice that there is a consistent design that we will be using throughout. So you'll see that there are going to be some weekly checklists just to help you kind of organize and make sure that you're accomplishing all of the tasks that needed to be done. We also will have some icons that should serve as some signals to you, just letting you know if there's activities or readings or something for you to submit that week. So pay attention to those icons. And we are going to talk about forum post. So you're only going to have one forum that you have to type in the forum section, but we are going to do some forums in other ways, like completing the Flipgrid of just giving some introductions about who you are, what makes you happy, the kind of classroom you're in, and then additionally, we're going to use VoiceThread so that we can have those rich classroom discussions that sometimes are lacking when you are using the forum post. It allows us to kind of get to know each other better and have some opportunities that we would if we were meeting in a face-to-face format. So as I mentioned, the assignments are always due on Mondays at 11:55 p.m. Please note that the assignments are open. You can upload them at any time prior to the deadline, because we won't be accepting any late assignments. So you really want to make sure that you get your work submitted by Mondays at 11:55 on the week that they are due. We do encourage you still continue to use the syllabus and the attached course schedule, because as we mentioned, we do have those weekly checklists, but please do always adhere to the schedule so you know and make sure, double check everything that's due. As for the course requirements for SED 445, there will be 4 reading logs that are assigned, and so we'll provide those readings for you each week. Some weeks you'll have a choice, other weeks there will be selected readings, and we'll have you complete those reading logs with the template provided, and then you will upload those to ReggieNet. As I mentioned, we'll have some forums. The main one will be where you're going to share your personal philosophy statement. This is going to be 3 to 5 pages, and there's a description in the syllabus with what all that should entail, but you're going to get some peer feedback on your philosophy statement. There's a curriculum development project. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And then you're also going to have a curricular area team presentation. So the Google survey that you filled out just kind of helps us to know how to group you for that team presentation. For certain members of our class, you might be working with students that use the essential elements to drive your curriculum. Others of you may be working from the Illinois State Learning Standards and working towards access of the general ed curriculum. So we just want to get an idea of the types of classrooms that each of you are in. Additionally, it is required for you to attend all 3 of the face-to-face sessions. Since we're talking about curriculum development, it's really important that we define what curriculum is. So, Peter Olivia tells us that a number of plans in written form and of varying scope that delineate the desired learning experiences. The curriculum may be a unit, a course, a sequence of course, and the school's entire program of studies. Popham tells us that the outcomes that educators hope to achieve with their students. The 3 most common kinds of outcomes sought are students' acquisitions of cognitive skills, bodies of knowledge, and their affect, such as particular attitudes, interests, or values. A curriculum represents the educational end. And finally, Reeves tells us that an effective standards-based curriculum is planned with the end in mind. So as we talk more about backwards design, you will see how we will have the end in mind. What we would like for you to start thinking about is you start to begin developing what your curriculum development program will be, is to really consider what a rigorous curriculum is and how it has an inclusive set of aligned components. So we want for you to be thinking about a unit that you really would like to develop this summer so that you can use in your classroom in the fall or spring semester, depending on when that unit falls within your curriculum. So we want us to all start thinking about clear learning outcomes that have matching assessments, some engaging learning experiences, and including some of those evidence-based instructional strategies. And we are going to ensure that it's organized into sequenced units of study that serve both the detailed roadmap, so kind of letting us know where we're beginning and how we're going to get to the end, with all of the high quality delivery systems for ensuring that all of our learners are going to achieve the desired end. So thinking through those differentiated instruction pieces. Ainsworth reminds us that the attainment of a specific standards within a particular content area is what we strive for. So when we have our student at the center, we will then have some precise learning targets that really do evidence all that we know about our learners' strengths and our learners' needs, along with meaningful and relevant lessons and activities with multiple opportunities for our students to succeed. As we design the curriculum project, the purpose of this assignment is to design a curricular unit that demonstrates understanding and applicability of special education course concepts. The curriculum development project provides you with an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to prioritize what are those essential concepts and skills, and how do you adapt your plans and assessments within your curricular unit. You'll also be required to integrate some evidence-based practice and instructional strategies that meet the unique needs of your specific learners with disabilities in a given content area. And then you're going to use those appropriate standards, whether it is the essential elements or the Illinois Learning Standards. We ask that you go ahead and take a look at the rubric. There's going to be a template with some areas for you just to fill in about your own classroom and the types of learners that you have. And this project is divided into 3 parts. You'll see on the syllabus that parts 1 and 2 will be submitted earlier in the semester, and then part 3 will be submitted at the very last week of the semester. So here's something that we want to consider, and also as we think about how can we move some of the face-to-face class into the online environment. And one of the things that Jamie and I both loved when we were taking courses during our master's program were those really rich conversations that we gained from our peers as we heard about what teachers were doing all across the state of Illinois. So we're going to do a voice thread activity where we can kind of hear from you and learn about your classroom, what you feel your strengths and your areas of growth are. But first, we want you to consider, what do you believe are strengths in your school's current curriculum? So when you think about the curriculums that are in place at your school, what do you see as strengths, or what do you see as, oh, I like this part, but then I feel that there are areas that need to be enriched? Or perhaps you don't have a curriculum and you are the one who's kind of trying to find different elements so that you can create a meaningful curriculum for your learners. Also consider, what are your strengths as a teacher? And how might you have a greater effect on improved performance if you enhanced your curriculum or grew in some personal strengths as a teacher? So now that you have brainstormed that list for yourself, what we would like for you to do is click on the embedded link below and enter into the voice thread. We want for you to speak about what content you typically teach. It could be that you have taught the same thing for several years, or maybe you just found out that you're going to be teaching something different in the coming school year. Talk a little bit about the needs that your students have and the strengths that you have as a classroom teacher. Where do you feel that you really have figured some things out and you feel that you've really grown and evidenced professionalism in specific areas? Also, then on the flip side, think about some areas where you know you still need to grow and improve, and set some goals for yourself how you might be able to do that in this curricular project. And we want then for you to listen to what your other peers are saying on the voice thread, perhaps comment on what they have to say, and get some ideas of who you can collaborate with to share some of your strengths, or perhaps learn from them if they speak about a specific area where they feel that they are really strong. So we ask for you to do this because in the next 2 weeks, you're going to really start thinking about, where is an area of focus for me in my curriculum? And we're going to ask for you to develop this curricular unit. And specifically know that the unit is going to focus on the following set of standards. So you can either choose from the Common Core State Standards, you can use Social Emotional Learning Standards, the Essential Elements from either English or Math, or WIDA's English Language Development Standards. So take care, and we'll be keeping in touch and hearing about each of you as you share on your voice threads. Thanks.